Alright, I've hit record. I read some f***ed up shit.
I want to take just a moment and I want to make myself nice and wet.
I know, some of you might be asking, hey, that's nothing new to you, and I'm like, yeah.
I want to get my butt whipped with a nice wet dick.
So the other day I saw this list on BookTube of somebody talking about
Dick.
the most banned books in the book talk / book community. If I find the
Dick.
video, I'm gonna try to link it down below. Basically, on that list, I saw the book Double Edged by Nyla K.
The porn.
Now, for those of you who have been subscribed to me for quite a while, you will know that I did a whole video on Double Edged by Nyla K, okay? I gave you all the tea, I gave you a full rundown of every single thing that happened in that book, and it was a wild time. I was like, is there any book that can top, pun intended, the fucked up nature of that book? Is there any book that's gonna have me gasping and being like, why the hell was this written? I found one. Shit. Listen to me. Azula by Seven Rue. For those of you who might be asking, is this Azula fucking spin-off or sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender? I haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, I know, I'm probably the only one on the fucking planet who hasn't seen that show yet. And I don't care, okay? I really don't. But despite the fact that I haven't seen that show, I do know who the Azula character is, and I do know for a fact that she has no relation to anything in this book, at least I hope. Anyway, if you are faint of heart, I suggest getting the fuck out of here. I'm gonna describe literally every single thing that happens in this book. Fret not, this book has literally no plot. Spoiler alert, there's fucking. That's literally all there is to spoil. So feel free to stay if you have no trigger warnings. But for those of you who need the trigger warnings, I will say this. This is a plotless book about a 16-year-old girl who lives in a trailer park with her dad, her two brothers, her uncle, and her cousin. And one summer she decides to fuck every single one of them. Incest. Incestual incest.
Dick.
So let me just start by saying the warning of this book, okay? So this book opens up with this warning that says, sexual scenes in this book. Water sports, no, they don't end up in a water park, okay?
And I want to make myself nice and wet.
Dominance, groups, voyeurism, slapping and spanking, double.
That is some good looking dick.
Okay, so that is basically what we're gonna be getting into. If this plot, and those content warnings disturb you, if you're faint of heart, I suggest, you know, just getting the fuck out of here. But if you're like, I wanna know the tea, stay. So Azula opens up in this campfire, and this guy named Dustin is like trying to get in her fucking pants, and her brother Wesson comes in, he's super protective. He's like, you get the hell out of here, put that larva back in your pants, actual quote. And he basically stops the situation. And from there, we learn about her family setup. So we learn that she has these two brothers, one named Thane, the other one named Wesson, and she lives with two of them and her dad. Her dad is named Viggo. Now, did Seven Rue imagine Viggo Mortensen from Lord of the Rings? Was this author watching Lord of the Rings and like, daddy?
Yeah.
Literally. And then Viggo's brother is named Warren, so Warren is her uncle, and then her cousin is named Reuben. This is Warren's son. Yeah, so basically her living situation is she lives with her dad and her two brothers, and then I think in the trailer adjacent to them in the trailer park is her cousin and her uncle. And in another trailer, her best friend Bonnie and Bonnie's mom live there. This book is told from multiple points of view. We have Azula, who is the main character and the focal point of this story, and then we get various points of view from her brothers and her dad and her uncle. So, the next point of view is from the point of view of Warren, her uncle. So she kisses him on the cheek, and then Warren notices that his brother / Azula's dad looks jealous.
Now it's taste time.
And then we get this quote which goes, "He's my brother and sharing is never an issue for us as long as we got the same thing." So the book opens up with ideation of her uncle and her dad double her.
A nice, pretty pink. Whoop.
So she gives her uncle a peck on the lips, and then we cut to the point of view of the dad, and her dad says, Azula looked just like her mother. Something, she had some beautiful. What the f Her mom is dead, by the way. So she kisses her dad goodnight, and her dad is like, this is how we kissed when you were a little kid, and that's how your brothers did it too. And I was just, at this point, I was just like,
the next day.
So she's having this conversation with her brother Thane, and she gets him to confess something. And he says that he and Ruben, her cousin, this bitch named Bonnie when she was 16. And this is literally just statutory, okay? Bonnie, we learn, is her best friend. They her best friend, okay? And then Thane admits that he lost his V card to a much older woman while he was underage. So you will notice that this whole underage thing is something that is a running motif in this book over here. I don't know if this is a running motif in Seven Rue's books in general, but yeah, this book deserves to burn. So we get to the point of view of Ruben, her cousin, and Ruben, her cousin, is lusting after her.
Ooh.
Bonnie gets out of the shower and she's using this shower gel that makes her smell like Azula. And Ruben is like,
yeah,
when Bonnie got that bath wash, that made her smell like Azula, and I wanted to her. Because Ruben is so attracted to Azula and Bonnie smells like Azula, he makes Bonnie his
creamy penis.
And he pretends that Bonnie is Azula, his cousin, okay? So Azula hears this, okay? She hears her cousin getting next door, and she walks into her uncle's office. And she's like, hey, Uncle Warren, I am as and he's like, me too. And I'm like, kill me now. You know, curiosity killed the cat is really just me. I am the cat. So she can hear Bonnie and her cousin Ruben getting it on, like, in the next room. And Warren can hear his son getting it on in the next room as well. And because she is and he is, she proceeds to dry his
hard, creamy penis.
And she can hear Bonnie and her cousin getting it on in the next room. And she times her with their thing. So it's like every noise he makes, she's like, I'm not even gonna demonstrate that, but let me just tell you, she was moving in sync with the noises in the other room, okay? So when she's done doing what she's doing, she gets out, and then I think Wes, her brother, confronts her, and he was like, what did you let Uncle do? And she was like, I dry him. And then Wes apparently likes the idea of this, so he fingers her to completion and makes her the fingers. At one point, Thane comes in and her two brothers proceed to spit her. And then she proceeds to tell her dad about her very fun-filled, activity-filled afternoon. And normally, her dad or any dad in this situation would be like, you are fucked up, what the hell, sweetheart, you stupid idiot, what the hell, what are you doing? Trying to your cousins and your brothers and my brother, your uncle, what the hell? Not this dad, no. His reaction is different. He was like, a knot tightened in my throat, not because she had with her brothers, but because I thought she'd choose me before them. Why? Seven Rue. I can tell why you don't have your picture anywhere. So then her dad and her uncle proceed to take her dress shopping, and while they are in the changing room, the three of them have a okay, I have some quotes, I've got some screenshots, I have some fucking receipts. So this first one is, this is so dumb. So they start in the changing room, and then one of them says, what we were doing would not only kick us out from the store, but also have people call the damn cops on us. If we'd get caught f***ing our daughter and niece at the trailer park, nobody would fucking care. But this was thrilling, and it showed by the way Azula's body shook.
Look at that.
Now that I was her, Warren growled, I'll get her to eventually. So I think one of them is her, and then she is one of their and then one of them says internally, I tilted her head slightly to the side to kiss her, tasting my brother's still lingering on her tongue. We shared the same DNA anyway. I was sending these screenshots to my friend Meg, and she was like shitting herself. Like she was fully shitting her underwear. Shout out to you, Meg, for being an understanding soul who will listen to my shit. So you know how a while ago I said that this story had multiple POVs? So we definitely do get into that sooner rather than later and learn that the characters in this story are most definitely active parts of the story and not just passive things to be used or to use Azula in her quest to her family. So we get to a scene from Wes's point of view, Wesson's point of view, her brother, and he is and his brother Thane watches him. So he is just like straight up off, and Thane is like, and he's like, I see you watching me. Do you wanna? And he's like, and I was just like, what? What in the fucking Nyla K is going on here? And Thane is like, yes. So Thane, Wesson's, that is a thing that happens in this book, okay? In the next scene, I think Ruben takes one of them out to dinner, probably Azula. I don't fucking remember. I only took note of the important things that happened in this story. And the next thing of consequence that happens in this story is the bros show up to Ruben's place, his abode, and Wesson makes Azula Ruben's while Thane her in
my butt.
So Thane is her, and while he's doing this, he is Wesson off while Wesson Thane's
butt hole.
Okay, so there's like a lot of like hands and
dick
places going, mouths happening, and then they stop when Azula suddenly vomits out of nowhere. So I don't know what this whole thing was, but they were like, you went too hard on her, and she was like, shit, maybe. So then Azula feels somewhat guilty or slash confused, understandable, and she confides in her friend Bonnie, and she tells Bonnie that she's
pre-oiled my butt so that I can use my fingers all the way to the bottoms of my nice pretty pink whoop.
Having some fun times with her brother and her uncle and her dad. And I was like, okay, so this is probably where the cops are gonna get called. That's not what happens. Bonnie goes, I wish I could watch you do all that crazy shit. And then Bonnie says, I didn't think I'd say this out loud, but the only
porn
I watch is incest. And then Azula's like, I knew about her
porn
addiction and I needed to be a best friend now. She likes watching, I will invite her to watch
porn.
So she invites Bonnie to watch her family her. So they proceed to gang her. So her dad goes in her and her uncle Warren goes in her
pretty pink whoop.
Thane is the
dick
of Wes whilst all of this is happening. And while this is happening, Bonnie is just watching while her, okay, her own. Let's just clarify that. She literally just wants to watch in the corner. And then her dad and her uncle, they finish. And then everyone switches positions. So basically, Ruben her while Thane her, and while he's doing that, Wes is Thane in the, okay, and so then all of them finish and they proceed to So then she passes out from exhaustion, and then she wakes up the next day in bed with her uncle and her cousin, and then she meets up with Bonnie, and Bonnie tells her about what happened after she passed out, basically tells her about all the things she missed out on, and then Azula is like, yeah, I passed out, but it was really fun. Also, by the way, while all of this is happening, no protection is used, like literally none at all. This author's idea of protection is what happens after like the 10th time she gets
creamy dick into my nice pretty pink hole.
So her idea of protection is manually using their mouth to suck the out of her. That's not gonna work, Seven. That's just not how that goes. Like once it's in there, you can't just So of course the next day Azula has a stomach ache and it turns out she is pregnant. And Bonnie is like, I'll be there for you. I will be there for you. And then Azula is like, really, Bonnie? And Bonnie was like, yeah, I've been there for every single major event in your life. I was there for your pregnancy. I was there when your whole family f***ed you. So she's spending a lot of time in Bonnie's house and her family starts to feel neglected. So her dad's like acting up, he's all mad, he's like a wet blanket, he's like, why the fuck is she there all the time? And why is she not with us? She sucks. So she consoles him and he's like, you can tell me what's wrong. And she's like, I'm pregnant. And he's like full on surprised Pikachu face. Really? Yeah, sir, I'm sure you're old, you have 3 children. You should know by now what cause and effect is. The cause of f***ing your daughter and squirting in her will result in children. Okay, look, I'm not saying that the book was good before this, but this is where the book started to turn into a piece of shit. We get into this long section where Bonnie and Bonnie's mom are helping Azula out. They're basically like, we are gonna help you out because we have gone through this together. I raised this child all by myself. So they consult with this midwife and we get into these long rambling segments about the midwife telling them about what pregnancy is like, what to expect. She goes on to this whole spiel about what to expect when you're expecting, and I was like, kill me now. Like, literally, please put rat poison in my fucking food and slit my throat. I don't want to read this shit. So then Azula is doing some self-reflection and she's like, yeah, I have been neglecting my family. I need to go back to them. I need to tell them that they are loved by me. I need to express my appreciation for all that they have done, all the times they have... So she goes to her dad and he's like, verbatim, this pregnancy won't stop us from letting us f you. So then Vigo and Warren, her dad and uncle, fucking McDouble penetration her in the okay, one of the final scenes in this book is where she takes a paternity test because she's curious to see which one was the lucky guy. It turns out that she was impregnated by her father. Yeah, that is a thing, and I
want to get my butt whipped.
And they proceed to happily ever after. So now you know why I am traumatized and can't sleep at night, okay? Thank you very much. Hello, sir. When you see someone talking into a camera, don't wave at them through the window. Don't do that. If you made it this far, please leave a... What possible emoji could I make you leave in the comments? Leave this emoji. The sweat emoji. Feel free to suggest any books that you want me to cover next. Literally no trigger warnings here. Go off, traumatize me. I love the trauma. The longer the list of trigger warnings, the better. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video with people who need trauma in their lives, and I will love you forever. Cancelled. But yeah, I hope to see you in future videos, and as always, take care. I lose myself